Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Miniart. It's a truck model in 1/35 scale, so it's a German 3-ton cargo truck, so-called 3.636S late production. And what I have here on the table, that's the final shape of this release, so it should be already available in Max. And you can notice that the kit number is 35459. We have quite nice box art. I think it comes from booth 25 as well. And well, the box size is quite typical for this type of release from Miniart, so here you can see comparison with my hand. Also on the side you will find some safety information and also address of the manufacturer, while on the opposite side you can see here the note that the decals are coming from Cartograph. And of course we have all of the marking options, there are 5 of them, which is quite generous for a 1/35 scale truck. So if I open it, it's a top opening box, and what we have inside is really up to the top packaging. So if you have a chance to check all of the parts, do it because of this type of packaging. But my kit seems to be alright, even though it was shipped with our dear postal office. And I just need to cut through this plastic bag, and then we will talk about what is included here. As a reminder, you can also check the previous releases. I was reviewing all of the versions which were released for this truck by Miniart, and you can find them on the same YouTube channel which you are watching right now. And believe me, this is a really great kit for what you get for the price, and in a few seconds you will see why. So first of all, I would like to start with another plastic bag, because here, as you can see, we have the clear sprue PE parts and the decals. I don't know why Miniart recently started packing the unpainted PE thread together with the clear parts. This is not, I would say, safe idea, because in the PE parts they can scratch the clear parts. But the PE parts are always welcome in 1/35 scale, because as you can see here we have a lot of things for the internal and external features, so this is definitely a thing to use. Some of them are really tiny, but I think with the tweezers and maybe with a magnifying glass you should be completely alright. Next we continue with the decals. So these ones are printed like this. They are coming from Cartograph, as you remember, and we have really good quality. We have also some dials here for the instrument dashboard, so it's a really nice thing. I know that, for example, the stars, some modelers like to copy them with the templates, but this is already your decision if you are brave enough to go with the masks or templates and airbrushing. Next we continue with the clear plastic sprue. As you can see here we have the really great molding quality for all of the glasses on the front cap, and the masks are not included here, so if you would like to have a nice paintwork you will have to cut the stickers by yourself, or you will have to find some aftermarket, which I am not sure if it exists at all. Next we start with the first gray plastic sprue. So here we have the engine parts, exhaust, also we have some parts for the suspension, and everything looks completely alright in my opinion. You can see that there are plenty of the small elements, so be ready for this. It's something you won't be able to avoid, but in my opinion it's better to have all of these things than not to have them and try to buy them in the separate kits or any other type of activity to replicate it. Here we continue also with the cover for the rear section. It's a tarpaulin, but as you can see it should be assembled out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts. And well, the surface details are looking quite convincing in my opinion, and inside you also get some instructions on how to place the parts. So as you can see we have the front designation here. Obviously inside it won't be visible, but this is quite funny thing. And also here note that they replicated the wooden structure inside, something what they could have said it's like why we should replicate if it will be barely visible inside. But Miniart as usual decided to go full way into this. Next we continue with the thin plastic sprue for the minor parts. Here we have some of the suspension elements, and also we have the case for the headlamps. They are looking good, but for the thin parts I would recommend to be extra careful, because you can end up with the broken parts and then it's not a fun thing to repair. Next, we continue with the panels for the rear section. Here I have to zoom out a bit, and as you can see, this is the floor panel. Here we have also some chassis parts, these are supports, and if I flip it over, here we have also some guiding elements, which will help you to place everything into the right spot. So definitely a good design, which will speed up the assembly process. Just pay attention to how those parts should be combined together. Next, we also have the separate two sprues for the suspension. I'm showing only one because they carry the same set of parts, obviously. And here you can see the leaf springs, also some main chassis bars and angles. And I think they are looking quite decent. And well, as we are talking about the main chassis, it will take some time to get all of those separate bars together, but believe me, again, it's worth it. So even though it's tedious, I think it's worth spending some time. Here we continue also with the wheel rim parts. As you can see, they're molded nicely, and here from the opposite side you can see also some guiding elements again, but you can paint them separately and then combine with the plastic tires. So this is also another good thing about today's kit, but we will see them a bit later. Now we are going to see the Pioneer tools. As you can see, they are provided in two versions. We have with the clamps and without clamps. So here it's choice on you whether you would like to have it pre-molded or you would like to try to replicate it with the PE parts, which are obviously supplied in the kit. I think the PE parts might be a bit tricky option, so definitely do not overestimate yourself, be real about it, because later you might end up with the damaged parts. But you always have the one with pre-molded clamps as the spare option. Here we continue with the jerry cans. Again, this frame is supplied in two pieces or twice, and as you can see here inside we have also the guiding pins for those jerry cans, and they will have to be combined with the PE parts. Next, we continue with the rear supports. So these ones are installed into the rear section. As you can see, again, very thin parts, and I'm not sure with what you can replace them. Usually I'm suggesting the metal wire, but as you can see, these are thin in profile, so that's why it won't be that easy. Maybe if you squish the metal wire, the traditional circular one, and then you get the plain let's say structure or plain silhouette for this part, then it might be good, but well, it's already your decision whether you need it at all. Here we continue with more panels for the rear section. Again, the metal structure is pre-molded, which is really cool, but there is no wooden texture, so if you would like to replicate it, you have to go with the paint techniques, which is also quite an interesting thing to work with. Next, we continue with the frame, which carries the several types of the front grille, also the radiator and the oil pan, and I'm just looking what are those parts. I guess they will be also used somewhere in the engine bay area. Next, we continue with a bit bigger plastic sprue. So here we have more of the bonnet panels. Also we get the separate chassis bars, we have the separate leaf springs, these are wheel fenders, and this is the instrument panel for the front cap. Everything looking really nice, and I do not see any molding damage here, so you just need to get all of this stuff together. And as you can see, the parts count is definitely serious, so be ready for this. Next, we continue with more covers for the rear section. I guess this one will be for the closed version, but again, the surface details are looking good. Inside we have slight push marks, but I don't think it will influence much. Next, we have another plastic sprue with the wheel rims. We already saw this one. And then we have the plastic wheels. So I will show you only one plastic sprue because these ones are supplied on 4 frames. But in my opinion, this is one of the, let's say, nice inventions from Miniart, while other brands are trying to, well, still include the vinyl parts. Here we get the plastic parts where you combine all of these sections together for the tire. And as you can see, the design is quite simple, and you have the guiding elements here on the tire pattern, and also you have the guiding pins here, so it's really straightforward thing. But it's nice in its simplicity, let's say it this way. Next, we also have here some parts for the road wheels. And next, we continue with the sprue. I'm just checking why. Okay. Here it was the exhaust, and the exhaust attachment, as you can see, is slightly pressed off the frame. But here we have also some parts for the bonnet, and again everything looks fine. This one is jerry can holder as far as I remember. And next we have another plastic sprue with the structure for the rear section. I guess this is for the open version. And one more thing is the roof and the windscreen for the front cap. As you can see, it looks decent, and here inside you can see that also some internal structure replicated, but obviously you have to fill in these round circles in case you would like to show what is inside. And one more set of frames here. It's for the storage boxes on the vehicle. And next we continue with the, just give me a second. So those are the, again, the chassis bars, but here we get slightly different front cap version. Obviously this one will not be used. And also we get some interior seats, wheel axles, and again note that the chassis bars are molded together with the leaf springs. And next we have one more plastic sprue here, separate doors by the way, might be handy for showing what is inside, and also the separate grille, but this one I think will not be used in today's version. And next, last but not the least, is the assembly manual. So here it is. Let's close the lenses a bit, zoom out. So what we have here is the large color printed brochure. We have also a short list of the features. And next we continue with the first two marking options, by the way. And note that they have the rear section covered, which is quite interesting. Next we continue with the parts map here. And as usual, Miniart does not show which parts are unused, so pay attention to this. Next, here we start the assembly with the chassis and also the wheels, which is quite interesting, that the wheels, because it's a spare wheel, that's why. And this large part was actually the holder for the spare wheel. Next, we continue with an engine, the jerry cans, and all of this stuff gets onto the main chassis, including the exhaust. Next, we continue with more suspension and also the front cap parts. As you can see, the front cap is actually quite nice in terms of the interior, so that's why it might be worth opening one of the doors. And as you can see, manufacturer shows how you can replicate it. And next, here we continue with installation of the front cap onto the chassis. You can open the bonnet, by the way, which is also quite cool. And next, we continue with the rear section. So here we also have some parts to be installed if you don't want to use the canvas version, so pay attention to this as well. I guess each of the markings can be replicated like that, but as you can see, the canvas can be assembled in several versions as well, so the rear section can be opened, so we guessed it right. Here, by the way, you can see the difference, and of course you can open fully the rear section. Here we have two marking options in a slightly different coloring. This is a Spring 1945, this one is also Spring 1945. And here we have another one in US markings, which is also quite special for this truck. But overall, it looks like a great release in 135 scale, which should be already available in Modelimex. And of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion. So what do you think about this release? Write it here in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.